Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Me? Well, I'm still buzzing after yesterday's 200th consecutive live show, but I'm looking forward to the weekend. It's been a long week and it's been an even longer 10 months. So let's roll that intro and get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It's Friday, the 3rd of December, and as that remarkably persistent guy keeps on saying, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, it's crystal clear for CDI. Slavery, alive and well in the UK construction industry. From hairdresser to haul truck driver, and Liebherr brings some light to the Black Sea. We'll get to all of that in just a second, but first, let's see who among the rich and the shameless will be celebrating a birthday on this day of days.
Happy birthday!
And it's many happy returns to Heart of Darkness author Joseph Conrad, and to Moon River singer Andy Williams, to comedian Mel Smith, to actress Julianne Moore, and to full-time footballer but only part-time goal scorer Christian Benteke. But far, far more importantly, happy birthday to the bumbling Prince of Darkness himself, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. Many happy returns to them, one and all. The words explosive, demolition, and beautiful rarely appear in the same sentence, and generally for good reason. But here is an instance in which these seemingly contradictory terms fit snugly together to perfectly describe what you're about to see. That was Controlled Demolition Inc., or CDI as we all know them, working alongside North Star Contracting, taking down a pair of chimneys at the Crystal River Energy Complex in Florida. That film is about a minute and a half long, but there's actually a full 5-minute version over on YouTube. I would strongly suggest you go and check it out. That really is a fantastic feat of explosive engineering and a fantastic film as well.
Axoft and Svantec are your high-end partners for noise, vibration, dust and air quality systems, sensors and software. To find out more, visit axoft.co.uk or call 01234 639 550.
It's 214 years since Britain officially ceased its involvement in the slave trade here in the UK. It's 158 years since President Abraham Lincoln handed down the Emancipation Proclamation that ended slavery in the US. In recent years, we have seen statues torn down because the person they depicted had links with the slave trade of old. But if you thought that slavery was something that had long since been consigned to the history books, then think again. Not only is it still going on, but it's going on right here and right now in the UK construction industry. Construction Inquirer is reporting that 5 members of an organised crime family have been convicted of luring victims to the UK with false promises of well-paid construction work before trapping them in modern slavery conditions with no pay. Vasily Dragoy Sr., age 61, and others were found guilty of human trafficking offences at Southwark Crown Court after a 16-week trial. Their 16 victims were promised £50 a day to work in the construction industry with free food and accommodation, but identification documents were seized from the workers and withheld to exert further control over them. Dragoy and other members of his family made the travel arrangements for the victims to come to the UK from Romania and placed them in 4 houses in East London. In order to hide from the officials or local council inspectors how many people were actually living there, bunk beds were hidden in the loft. Living in cramped conditions, up to 26 people were living in a single terraced house. The victims were presented with false debts and provided with spurious reasons for withholding wages. I'm just about to post a link. If you'd like to read more, you can now see a link in the chat. We'll take you to the full article from our friends over at the Construction Inquirer. But I'm going to come back to that page in particular just a little bit later. In actual fact, I'll be doing it in the chat afterwards. So stay tuned for that.
The Miller GT series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility, and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
So, if you were here yesterday, and did I mention that it was our 200th consecutive show? Maybe mentioned it in passing. You will know that we talked about the journey that several of us have been on in the past few years. I talked about how I switched from print journalism to live streamer in just a few months, how Peter Haddock went from PR person to the king of LinkedIn in just under 2 years, and how Nick Drew went from digger driver to being the most credible journalist working in the construction sector today. Well, I've got that beat. Our friend and patron Gary Muirhead sent us a film this morning that simultaneously shows that it's never too late to learn a new skill. It also shows that while diamonds might be a girl's best friend, sometimes it takes a woman to get the gold to go with them.
Gold's very exciting. Knowing how much gold's worth and knowing how much is produced, like your shift has hauled millions of tons. My name is Maritza Putler. I am a truck operator and trainer for Northern Star KCGM. I think it's quite rewarding knowing as well where I started and I can give the same learnings back. Quite daunting at first knowing how big it is, how big the trucks are, how big the loading units are. Just the whole super pit, how large it is. Pretty impressive. Before mining, I've been a hairdresser for the last 16 years. Had my own salon in town for the last 11 years. Decided I wanted to do something different being in Kalgoorlie, mining town, join the mining life, and yeah, that's what I've done. Within a couple months, it's like driving your own car, or easier driving your own car. It was definitely a challenge going from the beauty industry to the mining industry, but I think it's been a good challenge. I've got a young daughter of myself, 12 years old. She thinks mummy is so cool driving a big, large truck in the mining industry, so yeah, I've been loving it.
So, a multi-million-dollar gold mining company in Australia has handed the keys of a massive $3 million dump truck to a woman. And yet here in the UK, we're still debating whether women are fit to drive a mini excavator. But maybe times are changing, and maybe it will be the Australians that lead us into a new age of gender enlightenment. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that right after this. Australia-based Tier 1 contractor Multiplex has challenged itself to employ women-led teams on 10% of its projects by 2025 and shift to a 5-day working week on sites in the same time frame. The moves are being rolled out to challenge what it sees as deeply rooted inequities in construction. A new 10-year social equity transformation business strategy aims to lead by example, tackling the lack of female leadership, structural racism, excessive hours, and supply chain abuse. Multiplex also plans to roll out flexible working on all sites next year and to implement a maximum 14-hour day door-to-door policy. Within the supply chain, Multiplex is committing to 35-day payment and aims to channel a third of spend to SMEs. As a further nod towards the need for greater gender imbalance, Multiplex is also committing to ensuring that 50% of all graduate intakes will be female as well. If a nation that still refers to women as Sheilas can make this shift, then surely there's hope for the rest of us. Wherever possible, we try to avoid sharing films that feature subtitles and foreign languages. We do have a lot of overseas viewers, but our audience is predominantly English speaking. And besides, I know that around half of you are generally watching on a mobile device, which renders subtitles pretty much impossible to read. However, for every rule, there is an exception, and I think you'll agree that this is an exception worth making. I'm about to show you a Liebherr dredger working in the Black Sea. Even if you turn off the sound and ignore the subtitles, I reckon you're going to like this one.
Samsun Denizli bir tarama baş mühendisliğinde limanlarda, balıkçı barınaklarında, dere ağızlarında derinleştirme çalışmaları yapıyoruz. Fassa balıkçı barınağı ve küçük bir liman işletme düzeyin buranın ağız kısmı, derelerden gelen malzemeler, deniz hareketleri nedeniyle bu limanlar zaman içerisinde dolmakta ve tabii ki bizim tarama faaliyetlerine ihtiyaç hissedilmekte. Samsun Denizli bir tarama baş mühendisliğinde bir tane Liebherr kazar makinamız var. Bir taramadan başka bir taramaya geçiyoruz. Ağır deniz koşullarında, deniz şartlarında makineler çalışıyor. Günde 500 metreküp, yerine göre 750 metreküp yapabiliyor. Gemilerimiz yani bu işe özel gemiler. Alt taraftan hidrolik bir sistemle kapakları açılıyor ve ona göre denizin derin noktasında yönetmeliklere uygun bir şekilde tespit edilmiş koordinatlara gidip oralara boşaltılıyor.
Liman ağzındaki derinliği gemilerin girip çıkabilmesi için yeterli seviyeye indirmeye uğraşıyoruz. Sabitlemeyi hidrolik ayaklarla beraber sağladıktan sonra istenilen derinlikte tarama alanını taramaya başlıyoruz. Kol sistemi kara sisteminden farklıdır. Joystick kollar bizde yer değiştirmiş olduğu için ister istemez karada ya da bizde arkadaşlar bazen sıkıntı çekebiliyor. Marin tipi yapılarak bize teslim edildi. Ekranda gördüğünüz gibi duva sistemine monte edildi. Karadaki makinelere nazaran daha dayanıklı. Çünkü boyası olsun, alt astar yapısı olsun, korozyona karşı dayanıklı boyalardan olduğu için kara sistemine göre biraz daha dayanıklı. Makinemizin kova kapasitesi yaklaşık 4 metreküp civarında. Diğer makinelerimize göre bom mesafesi çok uzun olmadığı için gücün neredeyse tamamını kovaya yansıtabiliyor. Bu da bize bir avantaj sağlıyor. Hani denizde olduğumuz için hoş olmayan durumlar da oluyor. Ama bu durumlara nazaran makine hala ayakta, sağlamlığını ortaya koymuş. Hidrolik güç olarak çok tatmin edici bir güç veriyor.
What a great film, and what a great job for that operator as well. Sun on your back, wind in your hair, and a picture postcard view from the front window.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
Right, that pretty much wraps up today's proper show, and it wraps up this week too. I won't be here tomorrow because obviously it's Saturday, but fear not. Our weekly omnibus edition of the weekend wrap will drop at the usual ungodly hour in the morning, so you can still get a fix of my happy smiling face even at the weekend. And just to give you a very quick heads up, I've got 2 brand new video interviews scheduled. One I'm going to get in the can later today, and another I'm doing on Monday afternoon. Both of them are with authors, both are with leaders in the demolition field, and all things being equal, at least one of them will be turning into a monthly, or an ongoing rather, monthly series. I'm excited to share both of them with you, so be sure to check back on early next week to find out more. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. This afternoon's interview, just so you know, isn't until after lunch, so I'm happy to sit here and chew the fat for as long as you like, although I know at least some of you have got lives to get back to. But until then, stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues, and thanks for watching.